everyone, thanks for joining us for another Plum Good tutorial. Today we're going to talk about this great Quick Points Prairie Point ruler that we've been using. It makes a great embellishment for any quilt or project, and it comes in several sizes. The one I'm going to show you is the 2-inch Prairie Points ruler. For the 2-inch, you'll need an 1/8 inch width of fabric to do your cuts. Now, if you're going to put this around a quilt, you'll have to go ahead and measure the entire circumference of the quilt, just like you would for your binding, to decide how much you're going to need. Go ahead and piece your strips together into one long continuous piece, and it makes this process much faster. So, the other option you can do is you can have a more embellished prairie point where you have two fabrics in your prairie point. So one is showing with one fabric and the next one in line is showing with the opposite fabric. To do this, you'll need 2 4 1/4 inch strips of fabric, one for here and one for here, and make sure you do your extra 1/4 inch because you need to account for the seam, or you won't end up with your 8 inch width for the entire ruler. So simple. All you do is, after you've pressed your seam open, if you're using the 2 fabrics, lay your ruler on it, and you need to use a 128 rotary cutter. If you use a 45mm rotary cutter, the blade is too large, and you can't make your blade cut up as close as it needs to the edge, to the top edge of the slots in each of the ruler, and you'll have to go back with scissors and clip each one of those locations, which would take forever if you have a large quilt. So go ahead and lay your ruler on your strip of fabric, get your rotary cutter ready, and slice, slice, slice in each one of those slots, just holding your ruler down. If you're worried about slippage, you could put some of the clear grip on the back of your ruler the first time you use it. Then after you've gotten your slits done, it's going to look like this. See? Every few inches you've got a slit cut, and it's the opposite on the corresponding side. Okay, here's the thing that I really suggest is a great help with this. We use a lot of spray starch here, but also the person who designed this ruler said that she thinks it works better with this as well. So at this point, you want to go ahead and spray it all down with spray starch, and then you want to press. And here's the next trick. You can do traditional prairie points, and if you're going to do the more traditional prairie points, you want to take every one of these folds, and you want to fold it up like this, meet your cut raw edges, fold it in a triangle, and press with an iron. Do the next one and press. And the trick to this is you want to make sure that the fold overs on both sides of your ruler cut are folded in the same direction. That's really important, and you'll see why later. It's also an issue with bulk if you don't do it this way later on. So you want to go ahead, like I said, just keep pressing, fold and press, fold and press. And if you starch them, they're going to stay really well, and they actually sort of stick together so you don't have a lot of slippage. Now, go ahead and unfold them since I haven't starched them, because they won't stay for this next part of the process. Now, once you've got them all folded over like this, you'll go ahead and use glue, and this is really important. It just makes your process so easy. You can use Roxanne's or Apple Glue or any of the applique glues out there, but we really like Elmer's washable skull glue. It works great. It's a starch product, and it's not going to mess up your project at all. All you need is a tiny little dot right in the corner. Oh, and if you're wondering about these glue tips, we sell these here at Plum Good, and they're great because they just put a tiny little micro dot of the glue on your project. So go ahead and glue in the corner, fold it over, get your folded edges very straight, and press. And like I said, if you've starched it, this is such a quick process. You just fold over, press, glue, fold over, press, and in a matter of seconds they're all done. Now here I've gone ahead and glued these to some cardstock so you can see, and it's easier for me to hold this up. This is the finished product without folding your prairie points over, it gives you a chevron. So you can also use it like this if you want to, and it makes a simple, really simple process. And you could stitch it on like this, or glue it and use invisible thread and stitch it on as applique. Now, here, I just did this one on a customer's baby quilt, and it was so much fun. I just couldn't resist trying a couple of different ways to do this. You'll be able to see when you get the ruler, there's a sheet in it, plus there are additional videos about all of the ways that you can fold your prairie points to get different effects. So as you can see, I used a stripe, and it was a straight stripe. It wasn't biased or diagonal. So when you do that and you fold these prairie points the way I've just showed you, you're going to end up with stripe going across on the first prairie point and up and down on the second one, and across and up and down, so it gives that extra effect without having to do anything special. The other thing you can do is you can do a traditional prairie point where you fold them to the center, or you can do more like the picot prairie points that we just did here. Now, as you can see, when I did this, I thought that it helped with the bulk in the process to do this as well. See, they're really stiff because I starched them, but as you can see, the bottom one has the same press that we did already with the ruler. The top one has the traditional prairie points where I folded to the center. And I'll go ahead and open this one up. It's glued, as you can see, but this way you can see how I did it. So all you did in this process, instead of folding your top piece to the corner triangle on the diagonal, you just fold it straight down in half, press, and then you can fold them to the center and put a dot of glue, and press. You can also use the pushing tool that comes with the, well, that you can purchase with the ruler, and see, it allows you to hold it on there and gives you that perfect fold over, so you know where to press, and it's also heat resistant, so you can press on top of this with your iron. And that is how you do it. I mean, it is just super simple. And like I said, this one has a 2-inch finished prairie point with a 4-inch across at the base. The 3-inch finished prairie point has a 6-inch across at the base. Okay, and here's the next project for the other ruler. This one is smaller, so it works a little bit differently. Let's go ahead and let me hold up the paper so maybe you can see this a little bit better. Now, with this little 1-inch, it has lines in the ruler that show where your stitch lines are. It has holes in the ruler for all your marking spots. So the first thing you're going to do when you use that one is you're going to cut a 3.5-inch strip, and you need 2 fabrics, and you have to put them right side to right side. That's very important on this process. You want right side to right side. Like I said, 3.5 inch, and let me hold it up on the paper so you can see this a little better. What I originally did was I took the ruler, laid it on there, and I used a ballpoint pen so you could hopefully see it better, but you probably want to use like your Fons and Porter marking pencil or any chalk marking pencil that you have, and you want to trace around the outside of the ruler, and then there's a little hole for you to put your 1/4 inch markings at each point, and you want to make sure those are marked well. And then there's also some random straight markings down the center line, so you want to mark those as well. And you should be able to see this in the video. I will do a close-up picture of it. Okay, so once you've done that, you could stick a couple of pins in it. Then you want to trim. Then you want to trim your all these down to 1/8 of an inch, and go ahead and clip just a tiny clip in each one of the triangle corners. Then you want to turn it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it, and I turned it with my finger first because I always find that's easy. Then you can go ahead and use the point tool, and it has one that goes with it for the 1 inch, but you know what, this 2-inch works just great. So I went ahead and used it as a pushing tool. See, you can push it up inside once you've turned it. Oh, I forgot to mention, when you cut down that center line when you're doing your trimming, only cut through the top layer of fabric so that you end up with this finished product like this. Okay. Then after you turn them all and press them, this is your finished product. And this one took me 7 minutes from beginning to end. And I'm sure, you know, you could even make it look much nicer if you took a little time, or some strategic placement of your fabric as well. This fabric already had a diagonal stripe on it, so I didn't have to do anything extra to make it look extra cute. The other thing I will tell you is when you are stitching this one together, when you get to the corners, you want to avoid a pucker. You want it to lay really straight when you've turned it, and to get that effect, you need to stitch up the line. When you get one stitch away from the point, you need to stop and stitch one stitch straight across, and then go down on your next stitching line. Straight across at the next point, up on your stitching line. Straight across in the next, just one stitch there will take care of that little pucker problem. And if you look closely at the one that I did, you can tell there's a few places that I wasn't careful about that. And it does. It makes a little pucker, and you can't turn your fabric well at those places. So once again, your finished product on this one is going to give you the short chevron effect, which is super cute. But look at this. When you fold it in half, because you're going to put it on your edging, you can do it this way, where you have your opposite fabric on the top, and you have sort of a sawtooth look. Or you can turn it around the other way and have the opposite fabric as your focal point with the embellishment in this case, because the stripe is more dominant. And that is how you do this little project. But I'm telling you, it's just so easy. It's a great improvement on the traditional way of doing prairie points, in my opinion. And once again, this ruler is the 1-inch mini point ruler, and it comes in 3/4, 1 and 1 1/2. And then we also have, like I said, the quick points ruler, which comes in a 2-inch prairie point and a 3-inch prairie point. Thanks for watching the demo tutorial from Plum Good. Have a great day.